Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of June 1st, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
I don't know if you heard, but I'm sure that you did, that Communist China's app TikTok, well, everybody wants it banned throughout the United States. Well, they're looking for a buyer, and they think that TikTok is worth about $100 billion. So a lot of people are saying, like, how can we get our arms around this? So one person is Kevin O'Leary. You know him, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. And he says that he's more than ready to just swoop right in and get TikTok. So he has launched a crowdfunding campaign on Start Engine to make TikTok an American-owned company. He's calling it Mr. Wonderful's plan to buy TikTok. Now, he's not asking for your money just yet, just asking for investors to make a reservation. Now, think about this. We have 170 million Americans on TikTok. Say 100 million Americans want it in. So if you do the math, each of those 100 million Americans would have to contribute $1,000 so that they could all purchase TikTok for $100 billion. I'm telling you, that Mr. Wonderful is just brilliant. Yep, he's just brilliant, just like me. And on that happy note, welcome. You're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. Where you been? We're so glad that you're here. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find me on over 420 top stations across the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members. All right, just for you, I check out at least 35, 40 different websites every single day to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know that are happening right now. And number 1 is super serious. Now, if it's not clear by now that spies with ties to China are targeting the United States, listen to this. The NSA says that you need to shut down your phones, iPhones and Android, at least once a week. Every single week, do a complete reset of your phone. Okay, here's the reason why. Zero-click exploits. That's the fancy term for when attackers can eavesdrop and collect data from your phone without you doing anything. And it's become unavoidable. So the only way to curtail it is for you to turn your phone completely off and then turn it on again. Okay. The NSA also advises us to disable Bluetooth when we're not using it. Update your devices whenever a new iOS update is out. And when the NSA says all this, it's bad out there, folks. It's really, really bad. So, put a little reminder in your calendar once a week to just restart your phone. Moving on to number 2, drones. Imagine this. It's an emergency. You need help right away. You call 911. You explain the situation, but an officer doesn't show up. A drone does. Yes. It's happening right now in Colorado. The Denver police are rolling out a new drone program to respond to 911 calls all over the city. The drone can be flown, obviously, to an incident site, scope the area, and then live stream video back to the operator. So that means that the responding officers can get a really good picture of what's going on, even before they get there. And it's not just happening in Denver, also in New York City. And Amazon, speaking of drones, they just got the green light to deliver packages using drones beyond a visual line of sight, meaning that pretty soon we're going to look up in the sky, we're going to see packages just flying through the air. And don't even think about it. Skeet shooting for prizes is against the law. Moving on to number 3. Wow, AI and buses. What's going on there? Well, apparently there's a big problem, a shortage of school bus drivers, causing many students to arrive late to school. Now, the number of bus drivers has dropped over the last year about 15%. So what are schools doing? They're using AI. In Colorado Springs, School District 11 was in a real bind. They could afford to hire 110 bus drivers, but they could only find around 60. So that's when they called RouteWise AI. This AI looks at every available vehicle, buses, sedans, vans, and they figure out the most effective routes for the school. So now the district operates 55 bus routes. They have rideshare services. The software has saved the district over $500,000 in 1 year. They have a 50% reduction in bus routes. I mean, everything's just going so well thanks to the AI. Moving on to number 4, this is a very frightening story, but I'm begging you to watch your kids. Because if you've been putting off that conversation with your kids about stranger danger online, here's why you need to do it. This happened in Flowery Branch, Georgia. Zachary Iona started talking to his 15-year-old target on Snapchat. He convinced her to meet him at a home nearby. Now, when Iona showed up to the house, he had multiple rolls of duct tape, a rope, and a knife. He attacked the girl. He sexually assaulted this 15-year-old girl, and then he stabbed her 86 times. Wow. Left the girl for dead. With all the strength she could muster, she crawled to her phone for help. She told the police her story, and they were able to hunt down Iona using the girl's Snapchat account. He was sentenced to life in prison last week. Now, the girl, after tons of surgeries, she can finally walk again. She graduated high school. She says she's blessed to be alive. So think about this. Our kids are growing up with phones, tablets, computers, laptops. I mean, you just name it. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat just puts them in direct access to people who they trust, but also to a lot of weirdos. So you need to have that talk. I know you don't want to, but you have to have that talk. This coming in at number 5. Wow, when I was turned 16, I couldn't wait to drive. Well, some new research out from Market Watch Guide says only 25% of 16-year-olds have their driver's license. Okay, 1997, that was 43%. One mom told the New York Post that her son said, "I don't need to drive. You're going to drive me, or I'll just call an Uber." Wow. Speaking of, why couldn't the artist get a driver's license? Why couldn't the artist get a driver's license? He gave off a good impression, but couldn't make a Van Gogh. Oh, I know. All right, coming up, I got a great tip on what your employer can see when you're working on your computer, and then how to make money by eating out. Yeah, and we have all of your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Commando. Hey, we have just a few weeks left in our iPhone giveaway. That's right. You could win a brand new iPhone 15, but you have to go to the special address, winfromkim.com. That's winfromkim.com. Hey, let's get started with Lynn in Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to listen to me because I hope nobody else goes through the scam that I went through. I was on my laptop and I got this message, big black screen that said I was locked out. And then there was a Microsoft picture down below, and it said to call the number there for service. Well, it turned out to be an entire scam, and they had somebody from my bank. They asked me for the customer service number on the back of my debit credit card.
Okay.
And they said they were going to call and explain to them that they needed to put some kind of fraud alert on
the card.
And no, not on the card. Yeah, on the bank statement.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous right now.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So they called in. Now, is this your debit card or credit card?
It's a debit card.
Okay. So on the debit card, they said we need to have the phone numbers because we have detected fraud.
Yes.
And they're going to help you out, right?
Right. And they said they call me right back. I said, but I don't answer calls if I don't know the number. So they gave me a phone number that would call me back. And then somebody from the fraud department supposedly calls and says, somebody has just taken $8,200 out of your account. And somebody in your bank has been watching your account for every hour on the hour. And this was freaking me out. And they said that I would need to go to the bank, but not to talk to anybody because somebody in the bank was messing around. So I went and took the money out of the account, and I was a wreck because I thought, well, somebody's going to rob me.
Right.
And they wanted me to go to this Athena machine. Turned out to be a Bitcoin machine. And I deposited the money. And I said, this is crazy. I don't want to be buying Bitcoins. I was with my partner, and they said they needed the scan number. So he held it up, and boom, my money was gone. But everything it sounded so real. And I can't believe what these people do and how they hurt people.
It's horrible. It's horrible. How much did you lose?
$8,200.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, especially since I don't have any other money. I have been laid off so many times. I'm almost 79. I've been laid off so many times, not because I was a bad worker, but because of the times that we were going through. People were losing jobs left and right. And I didn't have a 401k, a retirement fund. And at one point, I was at a job long enough where I was able to buy a condo, and I'm grateful for that. But that $8,200 was really the result of my doing a little refi on my mortgage so that I'd have some money to do some home improvements. And now I feel like I need a job. I don't know what I'm going to do. Have you got suggestions?
It's hard. I mean, it's more than hard. It's devastating, right?
Absolutely.
You're 79. I mean, you don't want to go to work at Walmart. Right? You don't.
Not really.
I mean, this isn't the way that you want to go out in blazing glory.
I've had back surgery and hip surgery. I can't stand for long periods.
Have you gone to the police, the FBI, anybody?
Yes, both.
Any help or no?
Police report.
You did? Okay, good.
I filed a police report and an FBI report, but they're not going to be able to come to my house and hand me the money. You're going to have to do a lot of investigating, and I'm sure they're doing plenty as it is before me.
Well, this happens far too often.
Absolutely.
And the police and the FBI, they're overwhelmed because a screen pops up. It looks like Microsoft. They're taking over your computer, and somehow they convince you to go to a Bitcoin machine. You're using your debit card, and then they can just go in there and they just wiped it out, which is what they did. So
it was so convincing. That's the part that gets me, that I couldn't see through this at the time. I was a nervous wreck.
And that's what they're hoping. They're preying on your emotion, and they're praying that they keep telling you got to do this now. You got to do this now. You better do this now, Lynn. Right?
And don't talk to anybody.
And that's where, if anybody's listening or watching right now, you need to know that this is a classic scam. You need to stop. Take a deep breath.
If you see something on your monitor, don't fall for it, like I did.
There are nonprofit organizations that offer financial aid to seniors. You sound like the person who doesn't want that, but I think you need to start looking at that. Programs like SNAP, government programs, you can get your internet access at a reduced rate. So instead of spending $100 a month, you're spending $50 a month. I think you have to look at all the resources that may be available to you. And,
I will.
And organizations like AARP, they have some resources listed on their website as well. Because, you're not alone. This is happening to far too many people. I mean, of course, you can get a job remotely if that's what you wanted to do, data entry, virtual assistants, customer service reps. But I think first, before you go there, I would look at what's available to you right now. Okay. So the $8,200, that was for you said home improvements. Is there anything like that's a standout that you're like, I got to get this fixed right now?
No, I can live the way things are. I'm paying for an air conditioner that I had installed 2 years ago. I've got a car payment, my mortgage, my insurance. So things are really, really tight.
Do you have Social Security coming in?
Yes.
You paying for Medicare?
$2,000 a month. Yes.
How much is social, you say? $2,700 a month?
No, $2,002.
Oh, okay. Let me do this, Lynn. How about if I send you $500 to help you out?
I would feel terrible taking your money. Oh, my gosh. I'm not looking for handouts.
I'm not giving you a handout. Okay, let me tell you something. If you were looking for a handout, I wouldn't have offered it. I have so many people that ask me for a handout. You have no idea.
Really?
Okay, and now that I'm giving you $500, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to get people all across the country saying, we gave Lynn $500. I'm in a bad spot. Would you like to give me $500? Okay.
See, that shouldn't. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, but what I want
in a bad spot.
But I want to help you out because I could tell you're a good woman. You're a hardworking woman. You got taken. And,
yeah, I did.
And I'm sorry that this happened to you. But if I can give you a little bit to help you get you over the hump, that's all I'm doing. I'm getting you over the hump. Okay.
How can I repay you though? I want to be able pay you back.
You don't need to pay me back. I call it random acts of kindness. If you know what, if you want to pay me back, here's how you're going to do it. Is you're going to let somebody on my staff interview you.
Okay. Yep.
And we're going to tell your story in a USA Today column.
What?
And
really?
so that, because I write for USA Today, I write two pieces for them a week. I write for the Daily Mail, Fox News, New York Post, all these other places.
Right.
Okay. But so maybe
I get your newsletter every week, and I love it.
Well, thank you. So, but if we could tell your story, Lynn, okay, and then maybe other people won't fall for it next time. They'll think about it. They'll be like, oh, wait, I thought I remember something like this happened to this gal in Phoenix, Arizona. I remember that. Something happened with her. So I put you on hold. We're going to get all your information so we can send you out that money. And in return, we're going to put you to work. There ain't no free ride here. We're going to put you to work, Lynn, and you're going to help us write a story, and so that this way we can spread the word about this scam from a first-person perspective and help a whole bunch of more people. Lynn, thanks for your call today. You know, it's summertime, and that means there are storms everywhere. So that's why you need to prepare. And of course, you have emergency kit with the basics. You have water, food, maps, and even those handy moist towelettes. But there's more to put in there. I want you to add a battery-powered or a hand crank radio, ideally one with the NOAA weather radio feature, and also a tone alert. Now, the NOAA weather radio's tone quickly tells you about dangerous weather and emergency. It turns on the radio all by itself to make sure that you actually hear the warning. Next up, just get a better flashlight. Okay, look for one with multiple modes, including SOS signals, and it's powered by a hand crank. This way, you'll never be left without a light. And of course, your smartphone, it can be a real lifesaver. So I want to make sure that you have a good charger, a durable power bank, or better yet, a solar charger, a total game changer during power outages. All right, coming up, we're going to be talking about how you can get Amazon, Target, Walmart goods for cheap. And then still to come, that's right, you can make money by going out to eat. Yes, we have that coming up here on the Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. Hey, before we go back to all of your calls, have you ever wondered where those expensive Target and Walmart and Amazon returns, where do they really end up when you send the stuff back? Well, people are lining up everywhere in these strip malls across America to get their hands on what's called bin stores. And if you want in on the fun, I bet you there's a bin store in your area just ready to be picked. To find it, just go over to Google and type in a phrase like bin stores near me, Amazon return stores near me. And you have to remember, it's an adventure. You may not know what you're getting inside that bin. But if you do find something electronic, make sure that you plug it in and you try it out, because normally there are no returns at a returns bin store. All right, let's see. Brad in Orlando, Florida, glad to have you with us.
Well, we've got a 13-year-old granddaughter that we are legal guardians for, and we're wanting to get her a phone. But we want to have as much control over that phone as possible. She gets plenty of access to things on her iPad and her laptop that we aren't too crazy about, and we're kind of cutting back on that. Mm-hmm. But we looked at a Bark phone because that allows us to say this is who you can talk to and this is who you can't, and that sort of thing. But we're looking for the best recommendations that you might have for something like that.
What kind of phone do you have, and what your wife?
We both have iPhones.
Okay. You got different options. Bark is a pretty darn good phone. And it comes loaded with the app. You're going to pay a monthly fee, of course, for the service.
Sure.
What I like about it is that when you give it to your granddaughter, she's not going to be like, ew, what is this? She's still going to do that anyway because it's not an iPhone. Let's just face facts. Okay.
Sure.
But it's not going to look like a gross phone that she's going to get made fun of. Okay.
Right.
This way you can monitor the text, the emails, social media. They were a sponsor in our newsletter a couple of months back, and I don't know if they're coming back or not, but I had the opportunity to really take a good look at it. And I also gave a Bark phone to a friend of mine who is very Catholic, him and his wife, very religious, very strict parents of 6 kids between the ages of 1 and 14. Okay. And so I gave him the Bark phone. I said, and by the way, none of the kids have their own phones. None of the kids have their own tablets or laptops.
Right.
Okay. They have a family computer that they use. Okay.
Well, that's kind of our situation too. And currently my wife and my granddaughter share a phone. So my wife can see some of the things that are going on her phone.
But, she's 13. She's going to want her own phone,
Right.
But you do get the monitor. You get alerts for any content. It will filter the website. It's designed with parents in control, parental control. Now, it's going to be more expensive than the monthly plan than, say, an iPhone. Now, with an iPhone, it does have built-in parental controls. You can set app limits. You can control who she can talk to. What is nice is that you're going to have Find My, so that you and your wife and everybody can see her exact location. And it just makes it easier to communicate. I'm not saying it's not going to be impossible with the Bark phone, but it really depends upon the child. And you said something like she's already doing stuff that we don't want, so I'm probably not going to give her an iPhone. Because we're going to clamp it down. And then when she gets old enough and responsible enough, that's when we can talk about an iPhone. So, you also have Google Family Link if you're on Android. Kind of works just like iPhone screen controls. There are other phones, like a pinwheel phone, and there's something called the Light phone. The Light phone is the phone that, remember the gentleman I was telling you about? Okay. That's the phone. That's the phone he's going to get his daughter. But she's not going to get it until she's 18. Okay.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So, but with the Light phone is that there's no internet access at all. None.
Okay. Well, my granddaughter does she likes to listen to her music on Spotify, and she likes to take pictures and be able to share them with friends. Can she do that on a Bark phone?
Yes, she can do that. Phone? Yes, she can do that. So, I would say, I'd say probably get her the Bark phone. I'd get her the Bark phone. Again, they're not a sponsor. They used to be. I don't get any kickbacks or residuals or anything like that. I think it's a darn good phone for the purpose that you're looking at, 100%. Maybe there's, might want to try promo code Kim. Sometimes they leave those up. You might be able to save some money along the way. But take a look at it. And then as she gets older, she gets more responsible. And take a look at an iPhone. But don't forget, over at the website at komando.com/contract. That's komando.com/contract. That's our tech contract for kids. Kind of goes through the rules of the road, not just with, laptops and Chromebooks and tablets and Xboxes and PlayStations and Switches, but it also goes through the phone. So again, that's free. I would have her sign that. Komando.com/contract, komando.com/contract. Brad, thanks for your call today. All right. So if you use a computer at work, what do you think that your boss can see that you're doing? Okay. Maybe sometimes you sneak in a little action at Facebook, you do some online shopping. Maybe you're even looking for a new job at the office. Okay. What about your personal phone? What can they see there? Now, if it's connected to the office Wi-Fi, let me tell you, they can pretty much see anything. Now, if you're working from home on a work laptop, you're still not off the hook, because even if you are at home, if the work laptop connects to the company network, your online activity may still be visible. Plus, some company-provided laptops, they'll put in these secret keyloggers. So this way they see every single thing that you do. So what do you do if you want to keep your browsing private? Use common sense. Avoid using work Wi-Fi for personal browsing. No online shopping, no job searching, no gaming. Just do your work. Yeah, that's it. All right, still to come, how to make money when you're dining out here on the Kim Komando Show. Now, before we go back to your phone calls, I just want to say one thing. I know it must be confusing because we're giving out so many different web addresses for our sponsors. I mean, there's Privacy Kim, there's netsuite.com/Kim, there's tmobile.com/55. And I know you're sitting there going, oh, what is the address for that special deal, Kim Komando? So that's why we put together a very special page for you at komando.com. That's komando.com/sponsors, komando.com/sponsors. And we really appreciate anything that you can do to support our sponsors because, we're not part of a big network. We're not part of Westwood and Cumulus and Odyssey or anything like that. iHeart. No, this is a standalone show. Okay, it's just us. So again, that address is komando.com/sponsors. All right, then. Kathleen in Houston, Texas. Hi there, Kathleen.
Well, I called because I was interested in different ways to make some income. My husband's getting ready to retire, and so I need to find something I can do at home. And one of the ideas that I came upon was narrating audiobooks, which that sounds very interesting to me. But my concern is with so many of these job sites, I don't want to fall prey to a scam where I'm paying for a program to teach me how to find a job getting audiobooks, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
How to weed out what's legitimate and what's not. And that's why I'm calling.
Well, because you know what? Anytime you type in anything on the internet to say make money, the scammers are like going, yeah, we got her.
Exactly. Yes.
We have it. So do you have anything you can read? I want to hear you read.
Oh, okay. You caught me by surprise. Yes, I've got something here. Now, this is just from a book off my shelf. It's just about money things. And it says, okay, this is about FAFSA. One critical warning for parents: as you consider your college savings balances, be careful not to give all your money to your kids. Financial advisors tell me they are astonished at how much money moms and dads are giving their grown children. After all, your kids can borrow for their education.
Okay. That's
you can't
enough.
borrow.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. First of all, you're going too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Second of all, we need you to talk like you mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, after all, instead of after all. So it's it's tone, it's inflection, it's you'll be amazed at how different you read when you smile.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever watched me do the show, you'll see I smile the whole time. And people are like, why are you smiling? And if you watch me do the podcast, I'm smiling the whole time because your voice is brighter. And you're more engaged. And when the only thing that you have to keep somebody attuned to you are their two ears, because they can't see you.
Right.
That's where it's like, there's an art to this. I mean, so many people will come to me and say, you know what, I could do what you do, Kim Komando. I could do that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, because I know a lot about tech. Well, you probably could. And you probably know more about tech than I do. But you don't know how to talk to people. Okay.
True.
Yeah. And learning what I do and what you're about to do, it's truly an art. And the thing that is a discourager to me in the voiceover industry is the use of AI and voices.
Yes.
And so many of these audiobooks, I saw some stat like 40% over the next 2 years is going to be by AI. So many of these audiobooks are going to be done by AI voices because they can do it quicker and easier. But I will tell you that I've spent almost $5,000-$6,000 to replicate my voice because quite frankly, I was thinking about this, Kathleen. Imagine if I didn't have to do the daily tech update every day. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine if I didn't have to do the digital life hack every day. Love that. How about if anything that I write could be turned into a podcast? Whoa.
Yes, I see. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, then I could go to Maui. Yes. Okay. So I spent all this money, and it came back that in order if I wanted to do this, I have to spend more money.
Right.
Okay, but this is the interesting part. It wouldn't be we would have to hire somebody else to read whatever I wanted them to read. And then their voice would be replaced by an AI voice.
Wow.
Okay. So that's where you may find your niche, is that you're reading what AI is they're going to put somebody else's voice on. Just put that in the back of your head. Okay. Okay. So now where do you go? Okay. First of all, you need to have a demo reel. Okay. Your best bet is for you to listen to a few audiobooks and really concentrate and listen, not for what they're saying, but how they're saying it, how they are delivering it, and to practice. And to practice. I mean, you can take courses on LinkedIn. You can take courses on Udemy, Coursera, okay, and even Masterworks, where you can pick up some tips along the way. And there's nothing like practicing audio narration by watching yourself do it with a mirror in front of you.
Oh, okay.
Because then you see what you're looking at. And when you don't have the mirror, then you can replicate that.
Gotcha.
So
makes sense.
So you go to like voices.com. There's also Findaway Voices. And then there's something called ACX. ACX is the Audiobook Creation Exchange. That's where we'll connect a publisher with you, an author with you, and vice versa. Okay. So with all that, that's where you can get started. And then when you get started, I want you to call me back.
Okay.
Okay. Don't be a stranger. Promise.
Okay.
I'm not going to bite. Okay. But I want to hear how you're doing and what objections that you've run into. It's not an easy venture, because I'm telling you, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm just going to sit at home and I'm going to get a microphone and I'm going to do audiobooks and I'm going to make a lot of money. No, doesn't work that way. Like anything else, it takes a lot of work, a lot of practice, and you got to be great at what you do. And, Kathleen, you do have a nice tone. You do. You have a pleasant voice. I would encourage you to pursue this. And again, if you need help along the way, just give me a shout back. Speaking of audiobooks, I have to tell you, my husband let me listen to his audiobook the other night, but I accidentally deleted it halfway through. I'm telling you now, I'm never going to hear the end of that. Oh, I know. That was a funny one. Just crack myself up. Hey, listen, how to make money by dining out. It's possible, and I've got the scoop still to come here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, listen, if you're not already getting our podcasts, oh my gosh, my dear, why are you not doing that? We've got a whole bunch of podcasts. Like, for example, the Kim Komando Show that you're listening to right now. You can get that as a commercial-free podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Then we also have Kim Komando Today. That's our fun podcast. It happens live 3 days a week over at youtube.com/Kim Komando. You can watch it on demand, or you can just watch it live. Love that. But you also get it as an audio podcast. And so wherever you get your podcast, search for Komando with a K, of course. All right, so you've heard of mystery shoppers, but how about mystery diners? Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, you can eat out at restaurants for free. Sites like iSpy CC, Market Force, and Second to None, they recruit everyday folks to dine at restaurants and then give them detailed feedback. So here's how it works. You receive an assignment via email, includes a gift certificate to the restaurant. That's how you're going to pay for your meal. And then while you're there, you need to snap photos, and then you make notes about all the food and the service, and you complete a questionnaire afterwards about the entire experience. Now, let me tell you, the more expensive the meal, the longer the follow-up report will probably be. So if you're interested in trying this out, you can apply right now at ispycc.com, Market Force, or secondtonone.com. If you're like, oh, I just missed all that, just search the website at komando.com. And while you're there, don't forget to enter to win that brand new iPhone at
komando.com. Thanks for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
Okay, here's a number for you. 25 seconds. 25 seconds. That's all it takes for thieves to steal a Kia. Okay. The Kia Boys, I don't know if you heard about them. It's a group of influencers, they call themselves online, teaching kids how to steal cars easily. kids as young as 10. Just type in hashtag Kia Boys into TikTok, and you're going to just find loads of DIY videos. The thieves show how to break off ignition covers with a USB drive or a screwdriver, just bypass the ignition and drive away. So in the time it took me to tell you all of this, if you had a Kia, it was stolen. Okay. And now you have no Kia. I crack myself up. And on that happy note, welcome everyone. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Goddess, here with you once again. It's the most trusted show. It's the award-winning show. It's the best show, the biggest show about all things digital. And you can find the show across 420 top stations in the United States. You can also find me in your radio app. Just search for Commando with a K. And you can also get the Kim Commando Show as a commercial-free podcast over at Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio. I'm talking about the American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force. Now, let me tell you, great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always negotiate a special deal for you guys and gals. And you can find every deal, every website that I mention with our sponsors over at commando.com/sponsors. All right, every single day I go to at least 35, 40 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the techverse. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that's happening right now. And I read the story and I thought, OMG, wow. Cam, who's now 25 years old, told CNN that she knows the exact day that she started her period. Why? Because her mother posted on social media. Her mom wrote, "Oh, my baby girl's a woman today." It didn't stop there. Cam's mom also posted about her medical issues, that she was adopted, and that she would throw temper tantrums. So Cam is now part of a group of kids that are saying that, you know what, our parents should not be able to put this on the internet, and we should be able to remove it if it's there. So they're pushing for the right to delete unwanted content when they become adults, also for financial compensation if their parents made money off of all this. So if you're listening and you're tempted to post something about your child like this on social media, remember, it's not all about you. It's just not. Moving on to number 2, this is super important. You're going to want to tell your family members and friends about this. You know that Chinese company, Shein? Yes, it's the world's largest online clothing retailer. This is crazy. There's a reason why the clothes are so cheap. They're made with toxic chemicals. Authorities in South Korea inspected 93 Shein products and found that half contained toxic chemicals, which can mess with your hormones and potentially cause cancer. One pair of shoes had over 400 times the legal limit of these chemicals. So if you want to check the clothes that you bought there, drop a bead of water on the fabric. If it stays beaded up, rolls around, and leaves no residue, you have a problem. You need to trash it. You need to return it and stop buying junk from China. Moving on to number 3. Let's talk about Google. Over 90 apps in the Google Play Store with a combined 5.5 million downloads were spotted hiding malware. Top of the list, PDF Reader and File Manager, QR Reader and File Manager. By the way, you don't need an app to read a QR code. You know this. There's a whole list of them. And so if you have downloaded anything recently, you might want to check the reviews because now they're all posted there. We also have a list over at commando.com. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about your car insurance. I'm sure you notice that the rates are going up. Well, listen to these numbers from Bloomberg. It turns out that 1 in every 5 cars examined by an insurance adjuster is deemed too expensive to repair and return to a driving condition. That's 20% of all crashed cars that are just being totaled. Why? This figure is close to a record, according to industry insiders, 5 times higher than it was in 1980. Think about this. Today's cars have everything high tech, lighting and sensors, exotic materials, airbags. So what's happening is that when you get into a car crash because of all the tech that's in the car, it's like, well, it's probably just cheaper just to total the car than to try to fix it. By the way, what do you think is the average age of a car on the road in the United States? What do you think that age is? The average car on the road? Any idea? Make a guess. I don't know if you're right. 12 and a half years. 12 and a half years. Finally, this coming in at number 5. You're not going to believe this. Oh my gosh. Comes to us from Michigan. Guy by the name of Corey Harris was called to appear in court because he was caught driving on a suspended license. So I guess apparently that county in Michigan is still doing things by Zoom, even though, COVID's over. So here's how it all went down. Take a listen.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
Okay. So this guy that got a ticket and had to go to court because he was driving with a suspended license actually went to the court hearing via Zoom while driving his car, holding his cell phone. Okay. Wow. I'm sure he lost his case. What a dope. All right, coming up, we've got so many things I got to pass along. How to deal with a bad texter, what's going on with data breaches, and how to stop your smart TV from tracking you, and also how to track planes in the sky using your phone here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, let me tell you something. You can score a free iPhone 15 right now by entering to win it at winfromkim.com. That's a $799 value, winfromkim.com. All right, Dr. Weitzman in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You're going to start our show for us today.
Well, I am a more experienced physician. I've been doing this for 25 years.
Excellent.
When I first started doing this, there weren't really even EMRs around. They were just starting to be introduced. Mm-hmm. Now I train physicians and fellows, and I have these young guys and gals who are using AI to help build what we call a differential list, which is a list that a doctor normally goes through of diagnoses that the patient could have based on their symptomology. Sometimes it's okay. Other times it's absolutely horrendous. The AI that some of the younger ones who are coming out of medical school, just coming into residency, are using, are giving them a list of possibilities based on symptoms that are put into the computer. I have no idea how to do that. And what I was really looking for, things that doctors tend not to think about. And I was thinking, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could use AI to kind of remind us of those very rare zebras that sometimes slips our mind because we don't see it much.
Right. So the younger residents that you're training right now and doctors, do you know what system are they using? Are they just plugging symptoms into, like, say, ChatGPT? Is that?
I'm not experienced or wise enough to tell you what they're using.
All right. Okay. Let me just give you some homework to do. Okay. You have different AI assistants that are now out there. You've got ChatGPT that is put out by OpenAI. You have Google Gemini, which is put out by Google, which everybody's making fun of right now. I mean, because if you put anything into Google Gemini, it's going to be more of a joke right now than maybe it's something that you're going to want to say, oh, you have this. Like, let me give you a few examples. With Google Gemini, it recently said that a dog threw out the first pitch for the Florida Marlins. That when our U.S. astronauts went to the moon, they saw cats. You follow my drift. Okay. It's off the rails. Then you also have Microsoft Copilot. And then you have another one called Perplexity. What I have found to be the most accurate is, and they seem to flip-flop from time to time, Doctor, that what I have found right now to be the most accurate is ChatGPT from OpenAI. And then there are different models that you're going to use. There's ChatGPT 3.5, there's ChatGPT 4, and then there's ChatGPT 4 Omni or 4.0. So with ChatGPT 4.0, you're going to spend $20 a month. And you are going to be amazed at what you can do with this.
How do you communicate with ChatGPT to give the pertinent information so it can come back to you?
You can type it in. You can, just like you dictate a patient's records, you can dictate to ChatGPT using the microphone. Or you can, as I did, downloaded his medical records from the Mayo Clinic and then uploaded those medical records for Chat to analyze. And then it will communicate back with you. And then you can start asking it follow-up questions. Now, in the prompt, as detailed as you can be in that prompt, the better the response back. So if you want it to be a medical professional with a specialty in oncology, specifically pancreatic cancer, then you need to say, this is what I need you to be. And then it will give you citations. And you can say, where did you get that? Was it the National Health Archives? And I want to read more about that. And so it's almost like you're having a consultation with somebody who is of high intellect and experience. Now, keep in mind, it's not always 100% correct. I mean,
I have found that to be perfectly true.
Yeah. Okay. But it does give you a good launching pad. Absolutely. Now, for science and technical fields, there's another one called Wolfram Alpha. That's ROLFRAM Alpha. That's where you're going to get more into science and technical. And it's really an answer-based specialized database. But if you are wanting to put in a whole bunch of symptoms, and I think you're going to be amazed, truly.
Yeah, I'm interested in trying this because physicians are still humans.
Of course.
And once you start getting into those ultra rare disease states, it's good to have them kind of jumbling around on your list of things it could be in the beginning. Rather than kind of searching at the end saying, well, this doesn't fit in anything. What do I got going on?
Yeah, and because then you waste a lot of time. And that time could be pretty precious to that patient who may have some type of cancer, which...
even the going home to sleep at night, not knowing that your doctor doesn't know what you got going on, it can be quite unsettling. I mean, you're preaching to the choir at this point.
And I think that's where it helps out. But there still needs to be the human element. There still needs to be an education. Like, people have asked me, is AI going to replace physicians? Absolutely not. I mean,
no, it can't. I've actually worked on some of the programs with IBM's project and several other of the projects where they're trying to develop medicine and train these AI systems to work on it. And there's a process that physicians go through that are from clinical experience, looking at the patient, listening to the patient, seeing how they move, all of these fine touch things, which they're trying to develop now, which I think once they get those fine touch skills into the computer system somehow, it might be more reliable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Right now, it's not there.
But I don't know how you teach AI empathy.
It's a very good question. I know that there are currently people working on the software. I think it's called an logarithm or algorithm or something like that, to try to teach AI empathy and to teach AI to have feelings almost. I mean, they can mimic it in the voice, but they haven't gotten that actual ability to do like what I call the fine touch skills, and like you put on empathy and feelings and that kind of stuff.
For sure.
If a computer ever gets to that point, it will be a nice addition to humanity, but we'll see.
We're going to see how. Now, here's the deal. If you have any trouble whatsoever, and if you have any other questions, I'm always here for you. Give me a call back. I'm happy to walk you through this. We're actually set to release a ebook all about getting started with AI over the next couple of weeks, I believe. I think it's. I looked at the final proof of it the other day. It looks pretty darn close. So when that comes out, we'll be sure to announce that here on the show and also within the newsletters. Hey, Doc, thanks for the call today. What a great conversation. All right. I have a friend who's really bad at texting. You send her a message and then you don't get anything back for days later. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. But when she needs something, you're like, you better answer that text. There's a term for this, text-tertunist. A text-tertunist. That's right. So you can go ahead and pass that along. Some folks receive over 5,000 notifications a week. So before jumping to conclusions, what you want to do is give that text-tertunist a call, and maybe there's just more to the story. All right, still to come, we have so many more of your phone calls, as well as we're going to talk about how to stop your smart television from tracking you, and also just some free ways and some fun ways you can track planes in the sky. All right, let's see. Coming up, we're going to talk about how to stop your TV from tracking you in just a few minutes. And later on, how to track the planes in the skies. It's just a fun thing that you can do with your kids over the summer. And before we get to all that, we hear about data breaches all the time. Seems like every other day. I mean, this past week, Ticketmaster, 560 million records in a data breach. And it's starting to become just white noise, isn't it? It's like, every other day there's a different data breach. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, almost 2/3 of us would go back to a website after a breach and just do the bare minimum, like changing a password. But, you can't just brush it off and just say, well, it's another data breach. There's nothing I can do about it. Maybe what you want to do is put a freeze on your credit so that in case somebody starts applying for credit, that at least, they're not going to be able to just have all your records, everything there. And, it doesn't cost you anything to freeze your credit. If you need the exact steps, we have it over at commando.com. Let's see. Melissa in Toledo, Ohio. Hi there, Melissa.
Well, I have a couple of issues. I'm set to retire in a couple of weeks.
Oh, good for you.
I work for the United Methodist Church, and so I'm finally retiring. And I have a computer that is probably 15 years old.
Okay.
So there's lots and lots of files on it. A lot belong to the church, and a lot belong to me. And so I need to separate that out for the next person so that I can take my stuff with me and leave the other files that they need with them.
And so what do we have in these files? I mean, what's your files versus the church files?
Well, I do my own research and, I do a lot of writing and, try to do some publishing and things like that they don't care about. And, it's just bogging down the computers. Their files are things like, board meeting minutes and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Do you have any files about people who go to the church that maybe came to you with issues?
Yes, absolutely.
And do those fall under you or the church?
Those actually fall under the church.
Okay. All right. So, after being on the computer for 15 years, right? Or how long you've been there? Like you said, the computer's 15 years old and you've been there a number of years.
Probably.
Yeah. That, the things things naturally will commingle. Okay. It's just, you may try as you might to say, I'm not going to do it on the computer, but you will. So your first step is to get organized and to set up, basically Melissa's folder, and everything under Melissa goes into Melissa's folder. Okay. And then anything that goes into the church goes into those church folders. So you're going to move things around. And sensitive files, you might want to put those into a whole different bucket, especially because, I'm not really sure, if they fall under HIPAA or not. But I'm sure that a lot of them contain sensitive information that maybe we don't want the next person to really have privy to if they don't need to have the knowledge about that. I'm sure a lot of people came to you in confidence,
Well, we do a lot with the homeless population and a lot of mental health. And so some of that needs to stay on. What I was hoping to do is download that onto a disk or to a thumb drive make sure it's just the next person that gets it, because there's safety issues. So I know
for
who's
sure,
safe and who isn't, who we need to really watch.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's good, because you're thinking about that aspect of it. I'm happy to hear that. So identify, move sensitive files around, in different folders. The idea of having an external hard drive is a good idea. Western Digital makes some really great ones, really affordable now. I don't really like the idea of thumb drives because they get lost, right?
Okay.
And they get easily misplaced because they're so little. And so that's why I like the idea of something bigger, and other than something we can put in a desk drawer and go, oh, I'll look at that later. And then meanwhile, somebody picks it up, And so now you have all of your goods. And so now you're going to put all of your stuff onto an external hard drive. You can upload it into the cloud if you wanted to, say at a Google Drive. And then you'd have access to that. And then once it's on Google, you can remove it from that hard drive there. And then we have to shred, basically, digitally, the files that you had on that computer, right? And so for that there's a free program called File Shredder, and it does just what I said. It removes files from the hard drive, and you don't have to worry about them getting recovered. Again, it's fileshredder.org. And if you're on a Mac, we're going to use MagoShare. Are you on your Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Okay, so you're going to use File Shredder. And then, but you're going to do that after you've backed everything up to the hard drive or put it up in the cloud and you've verified that it's there. Okay, because you always want to back up and then you want to verify just in case. Because I don't want you to lose anything along the way. And then what I would do for the next person is kind of to do a screenshot of that file, a file explorer where you see all the different folders. I do a screenshot.
Okay.
And then I would print that out. And then I would just handwrite my notes. This folder has this. This folder has this. This folder has this. And so this way, when they look at the hard drive, they have everything organized. Or if you want, you could do screenshots and then do like a video tutorial over that. But that takes a lot of work, and it might just be easier just to, sometimes it's easier just to have a printout where somebody can go, oh, that's where I find the accounting. That's where I find this. So
I was wondering about Dropbox. Could I include those sensitive files in Dropbox
for sure.
and invite that person?
Yes, you could put them up to Dropbox. You can do that. I believe they're HIPAA compliant. And so, and that's an idea. If you don't want to put on, like you said, a thumb drive or a hard drive, you could throw it into a Dropbox without any issue. The whole idea is that make sure that we, like you said, you're going to make sure that only the right people have access to that, which, you're smart. I can tell. And I hope that your retirement goes smoothly and you check off every item on your bucket list and you get to smell the roses, although it sounds like you've had a pretty good gig there at the United Methodist Church. And Melissa, if you need any help afterwards, I'm right here for you. Okay, Melissa, just for you, because you said that you are a pastor heading into retirement. You ready? Okay. If Christ were alive today, he would have a huge retirement account. Why? Because Jesus saves. All right. Have you ever wondered how the commercials you see when you're binge watching your favorite series, they seem to know a lot about you, right? The car that you drive, the vacation that you want to take. The truth is going to shock you that your smart TV, like everything else smart, it's keeping tabs on you. Brands like Samsung, LG, Vizio, and Sony are no longer just delivering your shows. They are gathering all this information about what you watch, the apps that you use, even listening to your voice commands. Then they're going to package all this up and sell this information to advertisers, marketing companies, and who knows else. So what you need to do is go into your TV's privacy settings. You're going to find options with names like app usage data. Okay. Or maybe it's called limit ad tracking or simply tracking data. So what you want to do is customize what you want your TV to know, track, and sell about you. If you need some help, we have some tips over at the website at commando.com. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as some fun ways for you to track the planes in the sky that are going ahead. It's a game that, even Barry and I still play. It's like we can say, wonder where that plane's going. Wonder where that one's going. And then you can look on your phone and go, you were wrong. It's going to Dublin or it's going to Los Angeles. So stay right where you are. All right, let's see. Shirley in Littleton, Colorado. Hi there, Shirley.
I've read about your urging us to take down 23andMe DNA accounts. And so my sister and I both have one, and we were a little confused or concerned, like what exactly are you concerned about by urging us to remove those?
Really good question. 23andMe, they've been around for almost 20 years, right? 18 years now. And, selling genetic testing. And the whole idea is that you can figure out where you were from, right? And maybe, there was something in that family tree that you needed to know. Well, they got hacked, and for 5 months, they didn't even know that they got hacked. Okay, that's number one. Okay. The company has gone from being worth $6 billion to zero. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. When they were hacked, they got the names, the addresses, and the genetic information of sometimes, depending upon what you read, it's 7 million people. Sometimes it's 14 million. Okay. Either one. Not sure which number is right. Here's my problem. Many of the people's genetic information, addresses, everything that was with it, were of Jewish and Chinese heritage. It actually looks like those particular people were targeted, specifically targeted. Okay. Okay. 23andMe only realized when they were hacked. Do you know how they figured it out?
No.
When the hackers began advertising the stolen data for sale on the dark web.
Wow. Okay, that is scary.
Okay. That's when they found out. They didn't even know. Had no clue for 5 months. Okay. That's a long time. So now you have to ask yourself a few questions. Okay. Who would be buying this data? Right?
Yeah.
How would they use it? I mean, we have a lot of racist groups here in the United States, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. We also have a lot of things that are going on in the world right now, too. What if somebody wanted to get your name and address and your DNA information, and then they could cross-reference that with political parties? And now, I mean, you can see how you can create these scenarios. Is it Hezbollah? Is it Iran? What's going on? We have this big war in Israel right now. So that's why I want you to get rid of your data. Okay, it's probably already gone to the hackers, but let's not keep it out there any longer than we have to. So that's why I've never been a proponent of doing these DNA tests. Never have been a proponent of doing them, especially in these, under the scenario that it's going to be fun and you're going to learn that you are, you know, I just happen to be Russian Ukrainian and I've got like a smidgen of I'm from somebody who went to, looks like Syria for the weekend, you know what I mean, type of thing. Had a fun time. Okay. You know, so, you know, and that's, you know, and that's, you know, it seems innocent. It seems harmless until you start thinking, where is this data really going? And how is it going to be used? And now, how do I know that I have this little bit of Syrian is that I was part of a Mayo Clinic clinical trial.
Wow.
To do DNA testing after my mother died of pancreatic cancer to see if there were any mutations in my DNA that could show a propensity for anything like that. And of course, along the way, they give you your heritage and then they say, you know, I don't have any heart disease. I don't have any cholesterol. I don't have any DNA mutations for cancer, you know, and they go through all that great stuff, which is really nice to know. You know, it's a good feeling to know because if there were, then you'd just go have additional testing, you know, maybe have a mammogram every 6 months instead of every year or whatever it may be. So, you know, I think in that case, that's where I think there's more of a benefit for that risk. Okay. When your health is right there on the table versus I'm 2% Irish or whatever it may be. So that's why in the newsletter, I've been kind of beating that drum that if you have done any DNA testing, is that I want you to go in and I want you to delete your records. I want you to delete your files, figure out how to do that. We give the links in the newsletter whenever we mention it. So if you're not already getting our daily newsletter, join 500,000 folks. They get it every single day. You can sign up right now over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Shirley, thank you so much for your call today. I do appreciate you getting through. Hey, I just want to remind you that we are really big in the podcast world. And so if you're sitting here listening on the radio, we totally love that. But if you're looking for more of the experience, you want more tech know-how, then I want to tell you about Kim Komando Today. Kim Komando Today is a fun podcast. It's where I get to interview some really amazing people, and we just kind of chit-chat about what's going on with tech. There's no calls, so it's totally different. It's not the same content here on the show. It's not the same content that's in the newsletters, by the way, that if you're not getting our free newsletters, you should definitely sign up for those right now when you're thinking about it over at getkim.com. But Kim Komando Today is 3 times a week. We do it live on youtube.com/Kim Komando. And then, of course, you can watch the video live or on demand, totally up to you. But if you're on the go and you don't have time to watch the video, well, then you can always take me with you. And let me tell you, I am perfect for you to go on a walk with. I am perfect for you to do the gardening, going on a drive, because it's just going to make the time go by so much better, and you're going to laugh and learn at the same time. So wherever you get your podcast, I want you to search for Kim Komando Today. That's Kim Komando Today, Komando. Of course, nobody really likes picking anybody up at the airport. I mean, so, think about that the next time. Like, do you mind picking me up at the airport? And the person says, well, okay. No, nobody really wants to do that because it's so hard to figure out like the gates, the door numbers. Is the flight early? Is the flight late? But there are apps to tell you where that friend is in the sky. First of all, there's FlightAware. It has a world map that lets you know which planes are in the skies and where they're headed. Just head to your computer or phone, type in the flight number, and then you see its location. Then there's Flight Radar 24. Now, the best part of this is that you can open up your camera, point it at any airplane that you see, and then it's going to be tagged with its flight number, departure point, and the destination. Just fun games. Now, all you need is the basic facts. Well, that's where you want to head to Google Flights. Just search for a flight number on Google. A box with all kinds of details, arrival time, gate info is just going to pop right up. And you can also just ask AI now, too, which is on ChatGPT. 4O, and that O stands for Omni. Now, do me a solid, make sure that you tell at least one person about the Kim Komando Show, because remember, knowledge is power.
Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 3.
All right, let me start by asking you a question. How fast can you type? I'm about 60 words per minute. That's pretty good. Now, the average is 40 words per minute. That's not certainly as great as the 17-year-old guy who goes by the name of Mythical Rocket. Yes, he types, are you ready for it? 300 words per minute. Oh my gosh. And the time that I've written a sentence, this guy has written an entire page. For you keyboard nerds, I knew that you would want to know this, so I actually checked it all out. The guy uses a special keyboard, an Apex Pro. Speaking of, why do keyboards never sleep? Why do keyboards never sleep? Because they have 2 shifts. Oh, that one hurt me too. And on that happy note, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the most trusted show. It's the biggest show. It's just the best show. It's the award-winning show about all things digital. You can find us on over 420 top radio stations throughout the United States. You can find me in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. And don't forget, you can get the Kim Komando Show as a commercial-free podcast over at Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And a special hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. And let me tell you, great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always negotiate super deals for you guys and gals. And I know it gets kind of confusing because they have all these unique addresses because they want to track like who's coming to their site from where. And so that's why I decided to make it super easy for you. So if you're looking for exclusive deals from our sponsors, go to komando.com/sponsors. That's komando.com/sponsors. Hey, listen, I go to at least 35, sometimes 40 different websites every single day to make sure that you and I are both up to date on what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know. And we're going to start with trackers. You know, it's always a good idea to put Tile Tracker or Pebble, whatever tracker that you want, an AirTag, on anything that's super expensive, anything that you don't want to get lost. So here's a great story that proves why. We're going to go to Sterling, Virginia. And that's where a construction worker noticed that his tools were missing from his work van when he arrived at a job. You know, tools are so expensive. He reported the missing equipment to the police, but this guy was smart. He thought ahead just in case, and he installed a GPS tracker in his equipment. So he went on the hunt. He followed the signal from his tracker, led him to a massive storage unit. He called the cops again and told them that his tracker led him there. Now, when the police arrived, they found not only this guy's construction gear, but they found over 15,000 stolen pieces of construction equipment. This guy just busted a huge crime ring worth over $3 million of tools. And they found 80 people so far. So they're giving them back their tools. So just a reminder, if you have something of value that you would be just devastated got lost, just put one of those trackers on it. Moving on to number 2, some Apple updates. If you had an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus between September 2016 and January 2023, you might be in for a little surprise. You're part of a class action lawsuit, and you could be $350 richer. That's right. In case you want to fill out that form, we got a link to it over at commando.com. All right. How about number 3? More and more Americans are giving BNPL, buy now, pay later, a try, using companies like Klarna, Affirm, and Apple. Just spreads the cost where you're buying into these smaller chunks that you can pay over a few months. Last year, 88 million people used buy now, pay later. And this year, of course, it's going to be a lot more. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is BNPL apps haven't been regulated like credit cards. So you didn't really know what would happen if you could return something or if you want to cancel a booking. So the feds have finally decided that these apps are pretty much, like credit cards, because they are. And so now you're going to get the same refund and fraud protection as you did with your plastic while dragging out the payments. Moving on to number 4. One thing is sure that, J-Lo looks amazing. Amazing. Her body looks like it's just sculpted. Her skin is flawless. If you go online, you may have figured out her secret. Online ads on Facebook and all over the internet claim to know that J-Lo's secret to avoiding wrinkles is this special cream that she uses, just makes them all just disappear. Well, sorry, it's AI that's doing all the ads. Jennifer Lopez recently told Variety about the ads and AI and that they're selling skincare that she knows nothing about. J-Lo actually says she uses olive oil on her face. It keeps her face looking young. You know, my grandma from the Ukraine, she used olive oil too. And wow, I remember her skin looking amazing. I should start doing that. But here's the deal. Tom Hanks isn't trying to sell you a dental plan. YouTuber Mr. Beast, he's not going to give you a brand new iPhone for free. And Gayle King is not endorsing a weight loss product. They're all deep fakes. And finally, this coming in at number 5. If you're having a child right now, this is going to sound really strange. I'm actually going to write this up as a USA Today column. Is that I want you to give your child a really strange middle name, maybe like Mythical Rocket or whatever it may be. Because here's why. This gal Samantha was going through a routine background check at her company, merging with another company. She said, she expected everything to just go smoothly. But then she got a phone call. Her employer had found not 1, but 3 separate felony charges on her record. They were charges for burglary, identity theft, possession of a controlled substance. She's like, what? I didn't commit any of these crimes. Turns out there was another woman out there with the same name and birth date as Samantha. So fortunately, the company didn't believe her. They did a FBI fingerprint check and she wasn't in the system. But here's the deal. If you do a background check and you don't have a company that says, oh, this is what we found, you can just be out of luck. So that's why I'm recommending any child that's born from now on, you need to give them a weird middle name, just a weird middle name. They may never have to use it. But the whole idea is that with all of our lives, everything that we're doing, going into these databases and with who has access to it for whatever reason, is that I want you to think about the names that you're giving your kids. Just kind of a weird middle name so that this way, in case somebody in the universe has the same name with possibly the same birth date, that these type of situations don't pop up. All right, let's see. Of course, we have all of your great phone calls. You don't ever want to miss that. We're going to talk about a secret phone ID that's giving away your personal details. We have a hidden list that tells you all the apps that are listening in. And also, just a quick tip to know which side of your car's gas tank is on. You're going to love that. And you have me. And I'm great, Kim Commando. If you haven't already, make sure that you enter to win the brand new iPhone because time's running out. Winfromkim.com. That's winfromkim.com. Bill in Winchester, Virginia. Hi there, Bill.
Mine's a bit of a conundrum, which does involve money, but it's the inability of someone to work their way through the system and solve the problem. But the quick scenario is that a year ago, December 22, my daughter bought 6 tickets on SeatGeek Morgan Wallen concert in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay.
And that was postponed a year because of laryngitis or something like that. And the tickets were reissued for the upcoming concert this coming week, June 6th, in Virginia Beach. And so then what happened was when my daughter logged into her Ticketmaster account, which is where the tickets were residing, it indicated that 3 of the 6 tickets had been, quote, claimed by 2 individuals. And that began the saga of emails to SeatGeek, which you can't call anymore. And they indicated they investigated it and so forth. And it wasn't just one email, it was multiple emails, and they kicked it over to Ticketmaster. And then when I got in touch with Ticketmaster, you can imagine what Ticketmaster said.
Nightmare.
Which is, calls, and I called customer support. Then they refer me to a separate number, fraud department, and fraud department is never available. Leave a message and you never hear return call.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this right. So she bought, 6 tickets? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, at SeatGeek.com. And then now when you're trying to use them, how many are claimed?
3 of 6.
Okay. And so they're saying that you only have 3 seats left, obviously.
That's what they say initially. By the way, the cost of the tickets was $2,000 total, which is more than I've ever spent on anything in terms of tickets. So when I go to Ticketmaster, they say they're investigating it, kick it back, and then I used my best resourcefulness and sent an email to the press department of Ticketmaster and told them the saga. And believe it or not, within an hour, I got a call from customer service in Charleston, West Virginia, an individual who answered it and said, "We will investigate it."
Okay, so but the concert's like a week away.
Right. Okay. And the concert is 4 hours away.
All right.
Or 3 hours.
So you got to get super aggressive. Okay.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would reach out to Morgan Wallen's promotion and management team. I'd have a canned note, all ready to go. Okay. And I'd drop that canned note every single place that you can and explain that $2,000 is a lot of money. Okay. And had you done the concert a year ago, we understand things happen, but we probably would have been happy customers buying your music online right now. But we can't. And somehow we need to find 3 seats, as preferably actually 6 seats altogether for this concert in just a few days. I'd reach out to the promotion team, as I mentioned, their management team. I would go to his social media, every place on social media, everywhere you can go. You need to be a pain in the butt, all right? You sound like a nice guy, but I want you to be a pain in the butt.
Well, I thought I was being creative, and eventually the lady called back after Ticketmaster lady called back on her investigation and said, "Well, we found out that all 6 of those are fraudulent, and we returned them to the owner." And I said, "So what are we going to do? Are you going to communicate with SeatGeek and tell them this problem?" And said, "No, you need to." And I said, "Okay, I need an email that says what you've just told me." And so then I sent that to SeatGeek, and that said all 6 were fraudulent. I want my money back or 6 tickets. And they said, "We've investigated and there's nothing we can do," which tells me about SeatGeek.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
keep going.
Love the idea of contacting an agent and the booking agency for Morgan Wallen. And I sent them a booking request for June 6th for $2,000 in Virginia Beach. And then I sent one to directly to what I thought was his agent. And not a surprise, Kim Commando responds ahead of all of those contacts. Now, I'm not a good social media guy, but
well, you need to do that. You need to, if she bought on credit cards, dispute the charge, obviously. Okay. And I'd file a complaint against SeatGeek and Ticketmaster with the Better Business Bureau. Sometimes that can be a faster resolution. And SeatGeek as well. Put them all in. Just go after them all. That's what I would do.
Right.
I mean, you got nothing to lose. You already lost. You lost the concert. You lost the family experience. You lost $2,000. And you're losing valuable time and effort and energy chasing this thing down. So I'd be pretty ticked off about now that all this is happening. And you just got to be a pain in the neck. You do. You just have to. And with SeatGeek, Ticketmaster, and Morgan Whalen, those are the three. Go after them all with a vengeance. Okay. If you need help along the way, I know the concert's right around the corner. We might be able to find Morgan Whalen's management team if you can't find it. I have a great gal on staff, Maddie, who can hunt anything down. This woman, she's so cute. She came in my office the other day. She's like, "You'll never who I just got a phone call from." And she tells me, I'm like, "Didn't he just come like he was on the moon once?" She's like, "Yeah, he was. Glenn, we're so close now. We're BFFs." Anyway, go after them all. And if you need help along the way, again, just give me a call back. But you don't have a lot of time. Doesn't mean you can't work this after the fact. But in case you do want to go to the concert, let's see what we can do now. Bill, thanks for your call. Reminds me of that old joke. Guy says, "Hey, Dad, give me some money. I want to go to the 50 Cent concert." And the dad says, "Oh, sure. Here's $1. Take your sister along." All right. Maybe it wasn't that funny. All right. Did you know that there's a hidden code attached to your phone that gives advertisers and marketers access to your private data? Yeah, it's called MAID, the Mobile Advertising ID. Basically, in a nutshell, it collects data on your online activity. And there are reports of some slimy data brokers that collect this data and then, of course, sells it. I'm talking about your full name, your address, your phone number, email address, your IP address. But there is a way to make sure that none of what your phone collects is attached to your MAID. On your iPhone or Android, head into your settings. And I want you to toggle off disable personalized ads. That's it. And if you need those steps again, just hit the website over at commando.com. All right, still to come. I know, they're doing it. I'm going to tell you the hidden list that tells you what apps are listening here on the Kim Commando Show. All right, coming up, I have the hidden list that tells you what apps are listening. Spoiler, there's a lot of them. And then later on, a quick insider secret to always know which side your car's gas tank is on. This is especially handy over the summer. Of course, you're going to be renting a car, and then you're like, it's on the left side, it's on the right side, it's on the left side. Okay, then you pull in, and if your luck is like mine, it's always on the side that you didn't pick, right? It's just the way it is. All right, joining us here on The Big Show is our amazing content queen, our very own Allie Seligman. Hello, Al.
Hi, Kim.
You look beautiful as always.
Oh, thank you.
So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about AI and really all the stuff you shouldn't tell AI.
Which, let's see, your name, your date of birth, your social security number.
Great.
Company plans.
Yeah.
The status of your relationship and how you don't want to be there anymore. And you need help from AI. It just goes on and on.
Legal agreements.
Oh, yes.
Maybe you've got trade secrets, right? Business stuff. And I think this becomes especially important when we talk about it in a business context, because it's not just, okay, maybe you have an embarrassing conversation with AI and I don't know, somebody reads it. But what about if you uploaded a bunch of stuff about your customers or that violated a contract or, fill in the blank, right? You can get into a lot of trouble with this stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't think about that because, we are using AI all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Day in and day out. Or I shouldn't say we are. Everybody is collective because there are still a lot of people who are still like, what is it and how do I get to
we
it?
are, me and you.
Yes.
Not everyone is. But yeah, and it's one of those things that you don't think much about it. I don't know, it's kind of almost like the early days of Google or whatever where
That's true.
You didn't really think about, there's a record of everything I've typed into this machine.
Yeah, and you take a picture of a rash, you upload it, you ask ChatGPT, does this look bad to you? Which is, that's always a bad thing. Does this look infected?
Oh, yeah. If you have to ask, probably. That's the rule of thumb there. But why does it matter? Who's going to see this stuff? What are we making a big deal out of nothing? And there actually are a lot of risks here. And when you think about it, we don't really know how they keep track of all this data, how they store it, where they store it, how they protect it, who's going to see it. A lot of this stuff, in the terms and conditions, they'll tell you, yeah, we're probably using this for training. And that doesn't just mean that the AI model is going to see it. It means regular people are going to see it too.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. It's like training. Okay.
Yes.
That's a big, big word, because like you said, it's like, well, does that mean like they're going to spit out reports? Does that mean that they're going to say, this seems to be a word that's trending? That a lot of people are asking about. And
are you going to be like the example in, a presentation that somebody at ChatGPT is doing to explain how people are using? You don't know. They can use whatever you type in however they want. I think training is a really nice umbrella word because, like you said, right, it kind of encompasses whatever they want.
It sounds happy. It sounds like, oh, they're going to make it better.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like when you get those pop-ups on your phone, your computer that say, hey, do you want to send a diagnostic report? Well, okay.
No,
we don't. And this is the same exact thing. So in a lot of different programs and services, if you think who's using AI data, who's using my information to train their AI, everybody that has any kind of AI built into their service is using your data unless you tell them not to. And some, yes, give you ways to opt out of it, which we can get to. But for the most part, I would just assume, this is the safe route, right? Just assume anything that you type into anything that uses AI, not just talking about ChatGPT, talking about your email inbox, right? Gmail has Gemini in everything now. Anything you use that has some kind of AI component, yes, they are taking your information, they're using it, they're saving it, they're storing it. Maybe they're sharing it, maybe they're selling it. It depends on the terms and conditions.
See, now we pay for ChatGPT Workspace.
Yes.
And at the bottom, it says, because basically it says, I'm going to paraphrase, because you're paying for this and because it's part of a corporate account, ChatGPT is not saving anything that you put here. But always remember, ChatGPT makes mistakes. Okay. So I look at that and I always think to myself, you are so full of crap.
I was just going to ask, do you believe it?
It's just, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it at all. I mean, it says it, but I don't believe it.
Well, and a lot of them are tricky because it'll say things like, yeah, delete this. So that's something that Google does with Gemini. Yes, you can delete things, but they say we have to keep this for a certain number of months or years. Sometimes it's hours, but we have to keep this for legal reasons. So even the things that you've said, hey, delete me out of here, you can't really trust that it's going to happen. So all those things you said at the beginning, don't type them in to your to your chatbot friend. It's just something to be aware of. And yes, these tools are super useful. They're helpful. They help us do so much easier, faster, better. But be careful what you're giving away. ChatGPT, Google and Gmail, Zoom, Reddit, Grammarly, Instagram, they all to some extent let you opt out of this stuff, the training. I'm not going to go through the steps here because you're never going to remember, but we do have it over at Commando.com.
It's a nightmare. The whole list is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not going to make the steps easy.
No.
Because this way people will be like, oh, no, I want to opt out. I don't want you to take my stuff and then train AI. But, it's something that you need to think about. And I know that people who are listening right now, Alan, are going to be like, well, I'm just going to put it in this one time. I'm just going to try it. Okay, I'm just going to do that.
Well, you know what you can do too? You can be creative. You can lie. Say you are, I don't know, trying to write up an email because you have an employee and you've got this big issue with them that's really specific. Okay, make something up that's similar and see what the answer is. You can have interesting ways of kind of redacting information or getting around it. It's almost like when you make up security question answers.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to tell the tech the thing that's real as long as you get the result you want.
But they're playing a psychological game on us. I don't know if you've noticed with ChatGPT, you ask it something and then it says, is this what you're looking for? Do you need me to elaborate more on this? and I'm sitting there because I just noticed that today. I'm like, you're not a person.
I haven't seen this. They're trying to sound more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're trying to sound like they're your like best friend.
Well, it's
like
so you
can
give all your
trust them.
secrets.
Exactly. All right. Good advice as always. Thanks for being here, Al.
Thanks.
All right. So you think the apps are listening? They probably are. Here's what happens. You put an app in, and if you don't read all the legal mumbo jumbo terms and conditions, maybe you gave the app permission to listen in on your phone's microphone, collect that data, and sell it to who knows who. So if you want to find out which apps are doing this, for iPhone users, open up Settings, tap Privacy and Security, and then Microphone. It pulls up a list of all the apps that use the mic. Just toggle off the apps that you don't want picking up any conversations. Now, if you're on Android, you're going to find the Apps Permission Manager in the Settings menu. Just disable the microphone for any apps that shouldn't use it. This is a good thing to do every once in a while. Just go ahead and check to make sure that things just did not get turned on automatically. All right, still to come, we're going to talk about how to know which side your car's gas tank is on, and we have more of your great phone calls you never want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure that you enter to win that brand new iPhone. I want to give it to you. I want to call you up and say, hey, guess what I got? A brand new $799 iPhone just for you. Time is running out. We're going to be giving this thing away. So you need to go right now while you're thinking about it. Winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. Now, what's the catch? The catch is that you get a few issues of my free newsletter, which you're going to love anyway. And if you want to unsubscribe, there's a one-click unsubscribe link at the bottom of every newsletter. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com. All right, let's see. Rebecca in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi there, Rebecca.
Back in the olden days when I was learning how to do the computer stuff, I signed up for every single one of your newsletters, and I'm still getting them. And you made me feel pretty darn smart because I was able to figure out this stuff. I even made a website, and I thought I was pretty much genius, because of all your help. But in recent years, with all this technology, with televisions and all this, I'm just feeling like I'm an olden girl anymore because it's so confusing. Our problem is that when we go traveling in our travel trailer, we have Dish Network at home, and so we have the dish that we take with the trailer. Problem is that most of the parks you're going to be in have trees, and it's really hard. You either don't get it or you got to string a wire a long ways out, or you get very, very few channels for all the money that you're spending on Dish. I see things about streaming. I don't have a clue what in the world that really means. Another problem we have is a lot of the areas we go to are quite remote, and so we have no internet. And I just didn't know if there's anything other than just going to bed at 7:30 every night. So not like we want to be, but it's just kind of nice to watch a few shows. So
okay, so here's what you can do, is that you have something called offline viewing. And so let's say, for example, do you have Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, so with Netflix, what you can do is you just go to the movie, and then in the three-dot menu, there's going to be an option to download the movie. And then you can download the movie. Not all titles are available for download, Rebecca. So the whole idea is, so even though it's streaming, is that before you guys head off for your next adventure, is that you go onto Netflix and you download some movies onto your tablet or on your laptop. And you can do this on Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. And again, you just go to the show, the movie, and there's going to be a download option. It's a pretty decent selection. Now, the big benefit, of course, is that you don't need to have an internet connection to do this. It's really sweet. Now, if you're finding that your laptop, your tablet, your phone, or whatever gets overloaded, that's when you can buy an external hard drive. And then you can also maybe even connect that up to your TV if it supports media playback. So you're just going to download these movies. And so we're not going to be streaming. We're not going to worry about any internet access. You can get all the shows that you might want and maybe pick a series that was really where you guys laughed a whole bunch maybe 20 years ago, and then you can rewatch that type of stuff. But we're not going to worry about having a Wi-Fi booster a separate antenna, a local SIM card, whatever it may be. The easiest way to do this when you're camping is to find whatever movie that you want, unless you want to do DVDs, which, that's always an option. But just to find the movies on whatever service that you're looking at, and then you're going to go ahead and download it. Now, keep in mind, it's going to give you different options to download it. Depending upon space, you may not need 1080p. 720 may be just enough for, whatever TV that you have in your travel trailer. So if space is an issue, just keep in mind that Super HD may not be for you. That 4K movie, probably too much, but the 720 may be all that you need in order to now go to bed at 7:30 and still have some laughs and have a nice glass of wine. And Rebecca, if you need any help afterwards getting this all set up, just search the website for offline viewing. That's what it's called. Yeah, technical term, offline viewing. And thank you for your call. All right, we have time for another phone call. Let's see. We're going to hang out in Florida right now. Ben in Lantana, Florida. Hi there, Ben.
Okay, so my wife for Christmas bought my mom one of those Amazon speakers, and my mom already has her own Amazon account, own username, password, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So I helped my mom set up the Amazon speaker to her Amazon account, my mom's Amazon account. For some strange reason, not too long after that, it somehow is linked to my wife's Amazon speaker, the one who bought the dot. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so my wife is receiving my mom's notifications from my mom's Amazon speaker about, purchases, deliveries, Prime Video recommendations. It's really weird. And, these two get along great. And I'm hoping you can help me keep it that way.
It's like, I don't want to watch Lawrence Welk. Okay, thank you. No.
Yeah, my mom's 80 years old.
Yes, it's like, okay, yes, times were groovy. We like that. What you have to do is get onto Amazon. I would just do a total reset of the gifted Amazon Echo. And
the gifted one. Okay, because I tried it on my wife's and that didn't work. So I did the wrong one. Okay.
Yeah, do it on the gifted one and then just have your mom log in with her own account. And then that should go ahead and fix it. What the bottom line is this. When you buy an Amazon product, there's this little tiny box that you need to check. And it says, this is a gift. Okay. Mm-hmm. Whether it's any type of really Alexa device, Amazon Echo. And if not, it's going to be registered to the account that it was purchased under. But if you say it's a gift, then that's when whoever you give it to can log in. And then when they log in, that's when they can go ahead and put their information in. It's a really common mistake that you made, Ben. I mean, I don't want you like, oh gosh, I shouldn't have done this. I did it on the wrong device. You know what? Happens all the time because they just have this little tiny box that says this is a gift. So again, reset the gifted one and then have your mom log in with her own account. Easy breezy and everything will be good to go from then on out. Ben, thank you for your call today and also for your kind words. Love longtime listeners. Love, love, love. All right. Have you ever pulled into a gas station only to realize that you put your car in the wrong position, the wrong way? And then maybe you forgot which side of the gas tank is on, or maybe you're in a rental car. You have no idea which side it's on. Well, it happens to the best of us. Well, here's an easy trick for you to know, love, and remember. I want you to look at the car's fuel gauge on the dashboard. Now, if you look super, super closely, you're going to see a small gas pump symbol. Now, right next to it is a tiny arrow. Yes, I know. This is crazy. It took you this years in life to figure out that arrow points to the side of the car where the gas tank is located. Now, if the handle is on the right, guess what? I know. We're so smart. The tank is on the right side of the car. Now, the handle is on the left. Oh, you're so smart too. That means that the tank is on the left side of the car. Just a reminder, especially this time of year, make sure that you don't use your debit card at the gas pump because there's a lot of skimmers. And if you can ever tap or use an app, that's always the safest way to go. Hey, don't forget to enter to win that brand new iPhone. Do it now while you're thinking about it. That's winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
All right, I want you to think about this for just a second. How many phone numbers do you know right now off the tip of your tongue? How many phone numbers have you remembered? I'm probably up to like 6 or 7. That's it. And it's really hard to remember phone numbers anymore because you don't really have to. I mean, you just pull the person up in your phone and then you hit call and then that's just it. Or you tell Siri or Google to call that person. Well, what's interesting to me is that according to a company called Whistle Out, 1 in 10 people, get this, they do not know their own phone number. They don't even know their own phone number. Oh my gosh, come on, people. You have to memorize. You have to know your own phone number. It's like your social security number. Just know it. I know you're sitting there saying, Kim, memory. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. I have a photographic memory. But I'm just missing the film. Yeah. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to this. It's America's largest show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, your beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. If you're a brand new listener to the show, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. And you can find The Kim Komando Show. It's an award-winning show in over 420 top stations across the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also find us as a podcast, a webcast over at komando.com. You can also get the show commercial-free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I need 2 things from each and every one of you. Number 1, in order to continue to grow the show, I need you to tell at least one person. That's it. Just one person about The Kim Komando Show, please, and thank you. Also, tell me what you want to know more about. Just email me at komando.com. There's a link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you send me. Hey, listen, it's great sponsors that help to make this show possible, and I'm always negotiating money-saving deals for you with our sponsors, like exclusive deals you're not going to find anywhere else. So I know that I give out a lot of different sponsor web addresses, and it can get super confusing. So that's why if you're looking for a specific sponsor and that link in order to get that deal, I put together one page for you. That's komando.com/sponsors, komando.com/sponsors. You know, every single day I visit at least 30, 40, sometimes 50 different websites to make sure that we're up to date on all things digital. That's right. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about tech. It's happening right now. We're going to start with something called a digital twin. Have you heard about this yet? A digital twin. It's so new that I bet you that your doctor doesn't even know about it. But there are 3 companies that offer this service. Virta Health, Amada, and Twin Health. But only Twin Health uses AI to reverse diabetes. Yes, you heard me say that, reverse diabetes. Here's how it works. The company collects all your body's vitals using a digital scale, a blood pressure cuff, smartwatch, and a continuous glucose monitor that they send to you. Now, all this data is collected is beyond what an Apple Watch or a Fitbit can really do. Now, these devices track how different foods and activities impact your blood sugar levels all throughout the day. Then, using this model, this is so amazing. The data is applied to your digital twin. Now, based on the twin's reaction, exact foods and precise amounts together with specific exercises and other recommendations are made. See, so before your doctor says, okay, well, let's try this and see if it works. Let's try this and see if it works. No, your digital twin, it's doing all this on your digital twin so your doc knows what works. Now, some insurance policies will even pay for this. If you need this, be sure to check with your doctor. Moving on to number 2, it's happening in the state of California, but I think you should know about it anyway, is that the state of California has come up with another way to increase taxes and micromanage our lives with something called the Green Agenda. Now, I know this stuff happens in California and I'm in Arizona, but sometimes it's like, then all of a sudden you start hearing popping up in other states and now you'll know what they're talking about. They're calling it a road charge. Now, you're going to be charged a fee based on how many miles that you drive. So for those of you who did buy an EV, you no longer pay California's expensive gas tax that's hidden in the price that you pay at the pump. Or those that are simply buying less gasoline because they're driving, hybrids and more fuel-efficient cars, the government's going to charge you anyway. The plan is to tap into your car's GPS that, tracks everything. They're not only going to get your mileage, but full surveillance of where you go, when you go. Now, the state says, oh, don't worry about the data. It's always going to be anonymous. Yeah, I didn't believe them either. Moving on to number 3, a free piano. Yes, that sounds great. No. The BBB just released a big warning and an uptick of scammers pretending to give away pianos. It starts with some offer on Facebook Marketplace. And the story goes, they're downsizing. We're just looking for a good home for our beloved piano. And while the piano is free, you have to pay shipping costs. And then the supposed owner refers you to movers who demand payment via digital wallet app, wire transfer, prepaid debit card. What that means is you ain't getting your money back. And once that payment is made, the piano never arrives. So always steer clear of any deals involving third-party shipping and verify the authenticity of items, even the free ones. Moving on to number 4, Sonia Foster. She has a 12-year-old son who started playing video games when the little guy was only 4 years old. Now, at the age of 12, the kid plays between 5 and 10 hours a day, Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto. He's 12, 5 to 10 hours a day. Now, Sonia says that it's not just the time that his friends have vanished, his hygiene has gone out the window, and if you tell him to stop playing the video games, you better duck, because he's known to take out his frustrations on his mom. So, how do you think Sonia, the great mother that she is deciding to fix the problem? Well, Sonia is suing a slew of video gaming companies claiming intentional video game addiction. 16 different companies are in the lawsuit. Sony, Microsoft, EA Sports, household names. The lawsuit claims that these companies are designing their games to be as addictive as possible, especially for young players. According to the filing, they're hiring behavioral psychologists, neuroscientists to help hook the young kiddos in. 60 million people are addicted to video games. Sonia says this is how she's going to solve her problem with her son. Sonia, you're a dope. Sonia, you need to take your son to a behavioral therapist, psychiatrist. You need to take the video games away, Sonia. You need to be a mom, okay? You just need to be the boy's mother. You need to be in charge. You're not. Instead, you're wasting money with lawsuits and lawyers. Finally, this coming in at number 5. Everyone thinks they're too smart to fall for a phone scam. Well, New York Magazine financial journalist Charlotte Cowes, she's smart. She's got that New York attitude, and she's out $50,000. Yes, I said $50,000. A phone scam began with somebody posing as an Amazon agent who claimed that her Amazon account was being charged thousands of dollars in unauthorized purchases at that very moment. Now, she denied the purchases. She was transferred to someone posing as a Federal Trade Commission agent, and somebody else claiming to be from the CIA. They all convinced her that $50,000 of her own money was needed by the government to help them catch and arrest the bad guys. Oh, come on, people. Americans lost $9 billion this sort of thing last year. Remember, all the phone calls are phony, like that free piano. All right, we got a great tip on how to spot a bad doctor online, how you can make some money as an Amazon influencer. And you don't have to be like, 18 years old and pretty and skinny in order to do it. And also a letter from our listener mail. Should you share your password with your girlfriend or boyfriend? And of course, you have more of me and your phone calls, Kim Commando. Hey, listen, I want you to remember this web address, winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. Right now, just a few weeks away from giving away a brand new iPhone 15 worth $799. Yes, your name could be on the box as I send it to you, but I can't send it to you if you don't enter to win. So that's why you need to go to this address, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, let's start your phone calls. Hey, by the way, if you're ever too shy to give me a call, you can always send me your question. Just hit the website, hit that link that says Ask Kim. And Mary Jo in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hi there, Mary Jo.
Well, I have a question about our church setting up online payments for donations.
Okay.
We are at St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church, and we're an old congregation. It's 101 years old.
Oh, how beautiful.
And people are getting, up in age. We still just make our donations with a church envelope. You bring it to the church, and somebody actually physically counts the money, et cetera, and then takes it to the bank to be deposited. But we do have our children, like my grandchildren. I have a daughter in Seattle. She would still like to donate to the church, but there's no easy way to do it rather than her just mailing a check. So we're trying to figure out how are we going to be able to grade our ways to donate to the church.
So, you could always put, the easy way is you could just put a donation form right on the website of the church. You can accept that through PayPal, and PayPal will take a credit card. So if somebody doesn't have a PayPal account, although I think everybody does, not everybody, a lot of people do have PayPal, that you could just take a PayPal donation like that. If you wanted to take it a step further, you could create a QR code. So when I actually saw this at a Catholic church recently, because I'm Catholic. And I saw they had a QR code by the candles. I thought that was funny. And so instead of just putting, $2 or $5 to light a candle for somebody, is that all that was gone. It was just a QR code. And the QR code said, you could give $5, $10, $25 or what for those candles. And
right,
I thought,
right. Because sometimes those candles, it all depends on how fast they burn, can be very expensive.
Yeah, also it's easier because not too many of us carry around cash anymore, quite frankly.
I don't.
Yeah. I have a good friend of mine in Santa Barbara, and we'll go out and I'll say something. I want to buy something, and I try to use my phone, and she'll be like, "Don't worry, I got you, Kim. Yeah, here's $5, or $10, whatever it may be." Because I'm like, I just don't carry cash. I'm like, I will Venmo you that back. Okay, I swear. So when you start looking at this as a project, it's where you have to look at it, no pun intended, as a holistic solution. Okay.
Okay.
How much do you want to do this, and how far do you want to take it? And so, so it's not just donations from a QR code inside church. Maybe it's on the website. Maybe there are things in the gift shop, whatever it may be, that for now we're going to try to figure out how to take donations multiple places where maybe we didn't even think about before. And that's where
I never thought about that. We do have a gift shop.
Yes, so that's where you have to look at every different touch point at St. Nicholas on where are the different ways that we can give. I mean, we don't want to put a QR code on St. Nicholas outside, okay, because that's tacky. Okay, we don't want to do that.
Okay.
But that would be funny. That would be funny. Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe there are other places where you have naming rights, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just and then the other thing about a QR code too is that you can have a QR code that would tell a story. So what I mean by that is that you could put a QR code on St. Nicholas. But when somebody holds that up, it goes to a video about St. Nicholas and the history of the church. I know we're getting off. I know I'm getting off of
it's a long history. Yeah. I understand.
I'm getting off of just the donations. I'm just saying that because I was making fun of putting a QR code on St. Nick, but but there are things that you could use that for that the younger people would use and appreciate. The younger people, the younger population,
the younger parishioners, right?
So your basic start is you could use PayPal to accept these donations.
Okay.
Now, if you are looking at where you want to process these donations, you want to keep track of the donations, you want to thank people, and maybe if we call them whales. If there's a whale in the midst, you're like, okay, well, we need to have a new chapel, and we're going to do donor matching. Then I want to be able to contact those people so I know who they are. And so that's where you look at, let me give you 3 options. One's called Donor Box, just like it sounds, Donor Box.
Right.
Another one's called Tithely, Tithe.
Tithely. Okay, sure.
And another one's called Givelify, Give and then Lify, Givelify. There's a whole. I didn't know this until I became really involved in Phoenix. I go to a place called Mount Claret. If you're ever in Phoenix, Mount Claret is on the side of Camelback Mountain, and it's primarily a retirement retreat for priests and nuns and deacons.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's just beautiful. Let me tell you, Mary Jo, it's just stunning. And I'm a big supporter of the church and the chapel there. And I'll tell you a quick story. Is that so Deacon Tom came to me and said, we need to redo the chapel. Would you and your husband help us out. And I, absolutely, what do you guys need? And so this has been, over several years, we've been doing this. So about 3 years ago, we were there, and it was the deacon and two of the priests and the architect and the person who was in charge of all the donations. Okay. And they said, would you guys like to contribute? And I said, absolutely. And Barry said, yes, of course. And they were showing us all the plans and things like that. And then I said to them, does this come with naming rights? And they said, yes, of course. What would you like? And I said, well, what I would like is the Kim Commando Confessional, all case. And okay. And they you should have seen their faces, Mary Jo. They just went white. And then I started laughing, and you could see they were all of a sudden relieved, thank God she was kidding. Oh,
yeah. Because they were like, oh no.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so what do we say to this? KKK, Kim Commando Confessional. I'm not sure this is gonna work. Yeah, so
right. Yeah.
It was just a joke. It was just a joke. Just trying to lighten things up. So anyway, take a look at DonorBox, Tidely, and Giveify. And then if you need any help afterwards, wondering, take it to the next step, whatever it may be, Mary Jo, just give me a call back, but also check out just doing a simple donation form using PayPal. And again, thanks for your call. Reminds me of the time that a woman knocked on my door and asked for a small donation for our local community swimming pool, just a small donation. I closed the door and I said, I'll be right with you. And I came back with a glass of water. I just love supporting the community. I just love that. All right. It was in 2007 that the number of text messages sent out each and every month outnumbered phone calls. Yeah, that's a long time ago. And life has never been the same. Think about the Gen Zers. They grew up texting, and they use it differently than any other generation. And a lot can be lost in translation, especially if you're texting them these ways. Number one, you use capital letters, okay? No, it's not cool. It's not young. It makes you come across as you're mean, and stuffy, and scary. Two, proper punctuation. Periods and commas are super polite, but Gen Zers only use them when they're being super serious. So you don't necessarily need to use proper punctuation. Using acronyms from the early internet days. Yes, LOL. Stop that now. No, just go ahead and put a laughing emoji instead. Oh, you double space after periods. If you learned how to type on a typewriter, you do this. It's no clearer sign that you know how to use a VHS tape and a page or two, and you are old as dirt. So don't do any of that. We have more of your phone calls and more tips coming up here on the Kim Commando Show. Let's see. We're going to talk about how you can make money as an Amazon influencer. Anybody can do this, by the way, whether you're 80 or 18 or 38, doesn't matter. You can sign up and make some bucks that way. Also, how about sharing your password with your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, partner, significant other? What's the deal with that? And of course, we have your phone calls. And before we get to all of that great stuff, the old saying, what do you call the person who graduates last in medical school? What do you call the person who graduates last in medical school? Ready for it? Doctor. Yes. Today, the best way to check out a doctor online beyond the online reviews, which can be gained, is you have to do some extra digging. Now, you start by verifying the doctor's credentials. Are they certified? How long have they been practicing? The American Board of Medical Specialties, they have this great online database where you can check if a doctor is board certified in their specialty. You want to go to this website, certificationmatters.org. That's certificationmatters.org. And just type in the doc's name and you got it. Next, check to see if your doctor's gotten into any legal trouble. Now, every state has a medical board that licenses and oversees medical practitioners. So you go to the state's medical board's website, you type in the doc's name, and then you see their license status, any disciplinary actions or malpractice claims. Again, that's certificationmatters.org, and then just go ahead and check the medical board website for your doc's name. And I know there are all these other doctor review websites where, and you can do Google reviews, but I like going to where the certifications are because you never know if they're gaming the system or not. Let's see. Back to the phones we go with Laura in Augusta, Georgia. Hi there, Laura.
Well, I tell you what, my question I have, it's a brief but tragic story. My cousin was on business in New York City. He was, unfortunately, he was out for a night on the town, got in with the wrong people. He was drugged, taken back where he was staying, and then robbed. To begin with, they used his facial recognition to get into his cell phone, and by doing that, were able to hack into the other accounts and empty them. And the most horrible part is that he died from an overdose, along with another young man and a woman, and they found out that it was a gang that was doing this.
Oh, wait a minute. So wait, this is horrible. So he was in New York, and he was
in New York City.
And he got drugged, and then they used his face to open his phone, and then they robbed everything out of his bank account, and then he died of an overdose?
He did, and this was 2 years ago, May of 2022, and another young man also died from it, and I hate to tell such a long story, but his mother could not accept that he may have taken the drugs on his own. The investigation was kind of murky, so she went up there and they did more research, and about 24 other people came out and said, yes, this happened to me. So that helped the police investigation, and as I stand now, I believe there are 5 people in jail, 2 facing murder, second-degree murder charges, and all these other robbery charges too. And her message wanted me to get out was, do not let this happen to you. Don't let your guard down, and please be careful.
Wow, what a horrible story, Lori.
Yes. So she was able to turn it into something positive by getting justice. But my question is facial recognition actually safe? And what else would you do to protect your accounts?
Yeah, see, so many of us, we have our phones that are set up for facial recognition, right? Because we don't want to have to punch in a 4, 6, or 10-digit code or whatever it may be in order to open our phones, because we're opening them so much, right? We're looking at them for texting or email or looking at different apps. Is that, what you can do is not use facial recognition, and you can use a strong PIN or password or pattern lock as an additional layer of security. For your online accounts, you want to do 2-factor authentication, but maybe you want to use, instead of them sending the 2-factor authentication code to your phone that the robbers is that you can have it sent to an authenticator app, and then you have another layer of protection. You can limit any type of sensitive information that you have on it. But, I think here the big lesson is education on digital safety, right?
Thank you. It certainly is.
It's when you are out in a new place, you're even in your hometown. I mean, this could happen, right? That's for sure. That you are careful of your surroundings. You're careful of who you go back to a room with or who you befriend. Correct. And because you don't know what's going to happen once that door is closed. It's up to and including, Lori, that even now there are robberies that are happening, that you meet somebody at a bar, okay? And they say, oh, let's share contact information because maybe we want to get together again, okay? And so you look at your phone and maybe you have to punch in a PIN number, and it's not just your face. And then when you put in your PIN number, is that you put your phone down and then they swipe the phone and they run away.
Well, that's absolutely true.
Because now they just get $1,500, right?
Yes.
But I'm happy to hear that your, I guess that would be your aunt, right?
Well, it would actually be his mother. He's like a third cousin.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's third cousin. So that she was able to pull herself together after such a tragedy, right?
It was. And no, she did mention that I could use, she did mention I could use his name so other people could read the story because it has been in the press.
Sure. You can mention his name.
Okay. His name is John Umberger, Umberger, and she's been interviewed by magazines and NBC and ABC and other things too. So, but I just want people to be safe, Kim, and I know it's a terrible story, though. It is, but, it's an important story. It is. So, you know what? Maybe, Lori, you and I and your cousin's mom, okay, maybe we just saved somebody else's life. This very moment, because somebody is listening or somebody is going to share this story with their loved ones and their family. I mean, think about this. We all had things that our parents taught us growing up, right? About going to a bar. Okay. Nothing good happens after midnight.
Think about that. I mean, I heard that. Maybe it was even if you're a little bit older, your mom or dad told you to put a quarter in your pocket in case you needed to make a phone call. Okay, maybe that's what it was. Or maybe it's just, if you're ever in a situation, it doesn't matter what you are, what you're doing. If you need help, just call me or wake me up. Be home by 11 p.m., whatever it may be. Okay. Now, the digital safety when you go out is that you need to watch your phone because you're holding $1,500 right there. That's a lot of money to somebody. And the fact that they can get into your account by facial recognition takes it on a whole new level. I hope all those guys rot in jail. Lori, thank you for your call. Gosh, I just love taking your phone calls. I do. I have such a great time doing this. So, do you share your password with your spouse, your partner, your significant other, girlfriend, boyfriend? Let me tell you, you're not alone. Pew Research says 75% of people in committed relationships in the U.S. hand over their smartphone passwords to their partners. Okay, 75%. I was actually surprised that wasn't higher. Really wasn't. Now, what happens if the romance goes south? Breaking up is hard to do, especially if you share passwords. And not to say that your ex is a crazy person and go on some digital rampage, but why take the chance? So what's the move if your ex does know your passcode? First, no rocket science here, folks. Change the password. We're talking about everything from Hulu to your email, social media, Amazon Prime, but also if you went all out on smart home gadgets, your thermostats, your lights, security systems, garage doors, Wi-Fi. Don't forget to update those passwords and settings too. Now, a lot of people forget about the router. So that's super important because they could turn on remote access and then see access to anything. So make sure that you always set that router back to factory default or get a new one if it's a couple of years old. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as later on how you can make money as an Amazon influencer. You can do this here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you're not already getting my podcast, what are you doing? You're missing out. I do a podcast really super fun, totally different than the show here. It's called Kim Komando Today. It's more about just conversations with industry insiders and fun people. And Andrew Babinski's my co-host on that. And Ali Sullivan joins us from time to time. It's Kim Komando Today. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Komando Today. Or you can actually watch us do it live too, or on demand over at youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. Let's see. Brent in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Brent.
We've got an educational company, and we've got what they call enrichment centers in Malaysia, where we have a teacher in front of the children, and behind the teacher is a widescreen TV. We've been using DVDs to augment the in-person activities. Mm-hmm. And we can't get DVD players over there anymore. We need to find a way to run those DVDs with a remote or whatever, but digitally instead of with a DVD player.
Oh, there's a couple. My first inclination is, why are we using DVDs in the first place? Is there any reason why you're not putting these up on YouTube or using, say Google Drive or Dropbox?
They're using the menu to navigate around.
Okay. You can create menus with web-based content. It may be a little bit more cumbersome. So if you do need to create the menus, probably then we're looking at, you could get a media player and you could put all these files on SD cards, but that's going to be really hard. But they do have remote control, so you could go from chapter to chapter, so to speak. There you're looking at like probably a Roku or Android TV box, and you're going to save the files as MP4 files. You could create your own system, but I don't think you want to do that using a Raspberry Pi box. Then there's probably, I bet you probably, if you looked at something called Bright Sign, that's what companies use to display videos and presentations, like when you walk into like some big major corporations. But they also have menu options and remote controls as well. But it would be somehow, if you could figure out if you could get past the menu and maybe save each chapter as an individual file, then that would probably give you the greatest latitude and the greatest long-term solution, because then you'd have it up in the cloud. You can, here in the United States, you could populate all of that And they wouldn't necessarily have to have a remote or a menu system anymore, as well as just go to file number 1. You could call it chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, which, everybody in the world knows how to use YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, as long as you don't violate anybody's copyrights on these DVDs, you'll be fine. You could also create a hidden YouTube channel that, unless you know the file's address, is that it's not accessible, searchable to everybody in the entire world. Because I think when we start looking at using something like BrightSign or Android TV box, I just think we're making it more complex than we need to make it, because we want to keep it really simple, right? I mean, and so that's where it's like, ripping the DVDs. You can use software like Handbrake to do that.
We don't need to. We've got the files. There are DVDs.
Okay.
We made them for the classroom.
Oh, perfect. Okay, then you already have the files, and I would figure out how to structure it on YouTube. You could create a playlist for each individual lesson plan. That would probably be the easiest solution for you, is to take these files that you've already created, get them up on YouTube, create playlists. And as I mentioned, everybody in the world uses YouTube. And it'd be a lot easier and a lot more streamlined than to figure out how to get the files on cards, send everything over. Oh, I'm just thinking of like maintenance, tech support. Oh, no. Just put them up on YouTube. If you need any help with that, Brent, just give me a call back. And thanks for your call today. Let's see. We have time. How about Gail in Everett, Washington? Hi there, Gail.
So my husband, who is a 100% disabled veteran, has some mild dementia and mobility issues, and he enjoys watching TV and movies, but he is unable to manage the Amazon Fire Stick type remote. The up-down confuses him. The tiles confuse him.
Sure.
However, he can use an old-fashioned remote that you push in a number, So I was wondering if there's any alternative for him other than going back to cable TV, where he can just push in a number and get a channel.
Would it be good for him if he had one remote that had, say, 5 buttons on it? So, like, you could program his favorite channels?
Yes.
Okay. There's something called the Simple One-Click Universal TV Remote. Doesn't that sound exciting? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What should we call it? Let's call it. I always, can't you just imagine like people around a conference room, all these marketing people? Well, let's call it. What should we call it? It's called the Simple One-Click Universal TV Remote. Okay. It just rolls off the tip of your tongue. Anyway, it's designed to be simple for folks that are having memory issues. It has a large button for the volume. It has one channel button, an on-off button, and a mute button. And it works with almost every TV, streaming, whatever it may be that's out there, as long as it has a standard IR remote, which is this one does. But it has 5 numbers on it. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could program his 5 favorite shows on there. And then he'd be able to just hit that button and then go to each one without having to navigate through a whole bunch of buttons and without you having to go back to cable, because who wants to do that? Because it's super expensive. Although streaming is really expensive now too. The price on this is $40. Gail, hang on the line and we'll send you over an Amazon link to this so you can check it out. And thank you for your call. Just a quick reminder, if you have not already, make sure that you enter to win that brand new iPhone 15. Yes, $799 value. You can enter to win right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, the address, winfromkim.com. Because I'm Kim. I'm going to give you a brand new prize, winfromkim.com. All right. Do you like to buy stuff online? Are you great at social media? And do you like money? Now, if you answered yes, this is a side hustle for you. It's called the Amazon Influencer Program. It's great for content creators with followings big and small. You're going to get an Amazon storefront where you create and share content about the products. You review videos, you have demos, photos, blog posts to help your followers decide what to buy. Now, you get a unique referral link. When someone uses that link to make a purchase, you earn a commission, sometimes 10% or more. So think about this. If 10 of your followers buy a $100 product, you just made $100 yourself. So sign up directly at Amazon's site. It's the Amazon Influencer Program. Hey, thanks for being here. Be sure that you tell one person about the Kim Komando Show because after all, knowledge is power.